Fact, we've been in quarantine or up in this house for months now. Fact, normally when I do my makeup, I like something really sheer and glowy and kind of fresher looking, a little more chill, because I feel like it looks good in the real world. Fact, we have not been interacting with it real world very much. Fact, I've been just wanting to pile tons of makeup on because all I'm doing is sitting in the house with it on my face. And that's what I did today. And if you caught a video that I posted about 3-4 videos back, I did a video inspired by Spencer of Painted by Spencer here on YouTube, and I recreated something he did and kind of used some of his techniques. And today I did the same thing with the very, very famous makeup artist Hrush of Kardashian and J-Lo fame. I think she's worked on that group of women for sure, which is enough for me, and boy oh boy, let me tell you. Anyway, she has a really distinct makeup style. It's very different from mine, but I like it a lot. You know, it looks really, really perfect and flawless, but she doesn't make it look heavy, which is the goal, right? So if you guys want to see me kind of try out a bunch of Hrush's makeup tips and tell you guys what I would do differently, kind of laugh along the way because this was a process, then yeah, let's just get into it. Check the down bar for links to all my social media platforms. Come hang out on Patreon, come find the podcast. And now, let's get this thing started in 3, 2, 1. Okay, you guys, so the only thing I have done thus far is slather my skin in moisturizers. I put on a face mask, I did an eye mask, I did a serum, I did an eye cream, and I did a moisturizer. So I am very hydrated. I don't do my makeup very similar to Hrush at all. She does a very different style for the most part. Now, that's not to say she's like one note and doesn't do different variations of this, but as a whole, I would say that like she's almost like a makeup plastic surgeon. She focuses a lot on getting the symmetry right and really making it look like you're not wearing a lot of makeup and that you're naturally just really flawless. But girl, it's a lot of makeup. All that being said, starting off with contour. No, we're starting off with highlighter or concealer, whatever. So I personally do not use Tarte Shape Tape very much, but I decided I would today. This is light neutral and light medium, and I'm just going to start applying this in the areas that I want to do my concealing / highlighting. So I'm putting everything on the back of my hand, that way I can mix and manipulate. I almost always use Becca Under Eye Corrector to start my eye makeup, or excuse me, my complexion makeup, and she doesn't use a corrector, so I'm not going to either. Hrush usually uses a concealer brush. This is not a typical concealer brush, so I hope it works the way I need it to, but I'm just going to take some concealer on the back of my hand onto this brush, and she just kind of like very intentionally paints where she wants all of her highlight to go. So that's what I'm going to focus on. Wow, my nose looks like half its size already. She does a lot more product than I normally do, but that's okay. She's also wildly a successful makeup artist. This is like a little probably too light. I don't know. Am I gonna look like a different person after this is over? I know everyone usually says I look like a different person with makeup on, but we better really test that theory. This feels like so much. Okay, so far what I can tell you is this is way too light. So I hope I can save this. So she does like under the brow and like kind of does the whole eye with her concealer and her contouring methods, which I'm not supposed to be blending any of this yet, but I just can't help it. This is a hard habit to break. Wow. So as somebody who wears a lot of eye makeup to kind of get my eyes to look bigger, I can tell you that just doing this has already made my eyes look bigger and more open and awake, and that's kind of cool. So when she did Isabel Bedoya's head, her forehead, she kind of went a little bigger with the highlighter than I normally do. But I have a short forehead, so I can pretty much afford to do so, and it's not a problem. Contouring noses or trying to get a straight line on camera is so hard that I don't even know if I feel like trying. So Hrush uses a lot of duo fiber brushes, and I got rid of pretty much all of mine. So I'm gonna take this one from Morphe, which is still a duo fiber, I think, but it's not kind of what I wish it was, which is fluffier, and it's gonna give a little bit softer of a blend, but we'll see what I can make happen. She says she blends the edges of it. So one thing she talks about a lot is how when you apply your concealer, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to like go through the motions of applying it all precisely and then just kind of swiping it. So I guess the goal is to just keep it where you laid it down for as long as possible. I'm gonna push this up, which is a good tip that I learned because normally I swipe out and I really don't know why. It doesn't make any sense. As I predicted, having the type of brush that I have to blend out the edges with it being more dense, it wants to give me a little bit of a firmer blend, and I wish I had something a little more airy and soft to kind of diffuse those edges, but I think I made it work. And the brush that I had to draw my contour down the center of my nose was not as thin as I wished it was, so the highlight itself now is thicker than I wish it was, so I hope I can bring it together when I do the contour part. And speaking of contouring, I'm going to use the Fenty Match Sticks. I'm actually going to take the back of my hand and really warm up this product. And then I'm going to kind of, wow, am I about to hit pan on this? Holy crap, that's as far as it goes. I've completed this. Damn near. Amazing. I'm going to use the back of my hand to mix them because this is warmer, this is warmer and this is cooler. So I'm gonna get the kind of tone I want to work with on my face through kind of mixing them together on my brush. Hrush uses some pretty stiff, structured brushes to apply her contour, and I don't really have any of those anymore, so we're gonna see if I can make it work. This is literally the densest, most kind of contoured brush I have, or tapered, structured brush I have. This is the Wayne Goss number 2, and she really like does not play around with this. So I'm finna look crazy, and that is all right. We're gonna get there. So she does her contour on her face, and even though I'm not trying to mimic exactly the way she does anything on her particular skin or bone structure, I do think it's a good rule of thumb to kind of follow like this. Do you see this? Like mine would go right here. Do you see what I mean? So I'm gonna apply my contour right here. She like very deliberately made Isabella's forehead look really round, like really brought that dimension in the forehead, and then brought this in to the eye. Ooh. Right now, I cleaned up under here, which I would have done eventually, but it was just bothering me. And this brush, like I said, isn't as precise as the one that Hrush uses, which is a Sigma 4D, which fit in order, please believe. This one just kind of spread the product everywhere, which is the exact opposite of what we're trying to do. We really want our contour and our highlight to stay where we applied it until it's time to blend them together. And I applied a little bit more concealer right here on my forehead because I want this to kind of look a little bit round. And right now it's like going wide. So I'm just trying to mess with the placement of that because I think I like kind of that effect in the center of my forehead that way. All I did is make my forehead look smaller. I thought that's not what I wanted to do. JK. So the main difference between doing it this way and the way I normally do is because Hrush lets everything kind of dry the way that she does. And like I said, she's like a plastic surgeon with makeup. It's not this kind of soft, just kind of blend it and forget it application. It's like you want it to be exactly where you want it to be to get this type of effect. She also like wrapped her jaw contour like all the way around and up to her ear, which I never do that. I'm taking this really small Morphe brush. Hopefully I can fix this. Nose contour, period. It's an art all by itself. There should be people out there who simply just get called in from the glam squad. They're the nose contour guy. I bet if you could figure out how to just slay that every time to perfection, you could carve yourself out like a really cool niche in the beauty space. She takes the contour right up in that eyeball, and that's where she connects it into her nose. Sometimes she does it into the brow, so I'm just gonna try to figure out what I think look best. Probably this. And then she takes it into the crease. I don't know, man. This is scary. Trying to connect it with all this stuff I've already done. Although this is a pretty color in the crease right now. So this concealer in my outer corner keeps getting higher and higher. Doing your makeup this way and kind of starting with your bone structure is like interesting, truly, because it makes you kind of question, like, have I been applying stuff where I need to this whole time? All right, whatever. I pretty much have all this stuff where I'm supposed to have it. Now, the hard part for me at this juncture is going to be the next few steps. So one thing I watched Hrush do in pretty much every video that I've watched of her so far is she makes it a very good point to marry her colors together. So she doesn't even bother trying to blend this color into this color. She puts something in between. And the video I saw her doing with Isabella Bedoya, she used MAC Face and Body. So that's what I'm going to use. Like I said, the only problem is I don't have these like fluffier duo fiber brush moments. So I hope I can like make it work. I'm just taking a very little bit on this brush from Wayne Goss. I'm gonna take off some of the excess. And I'm just going to start patting in between the two. But I'm focusing it on just where the contour meets the highlighter. I'm gonna take a little bit of this and press it over my nose, I guess, because she contours her nose twice. So I literally didn't highlight this part of my face at all. All right, I'm gonna do that really quick. So it's just really interesting, this kind of act of going back and forth and blending. It's truly like being a painter. I just never think about all these other places that I should, I guess, be applying highlighter or concealer or whatever, and I just don't think about it because they don't really bother me. But I guess for the sake of trying to do the damn thing. Okay, so now that I've done about as much as I can do, I'm gonna take a wet beauty blender. She says she uses them really wet and she makes it a point to show, so I'm just going to show you now. And I'm going to start hopefully not lifting up everything I just did, like trying to blend and soften. I've never worked at anything as hard as I've worked at this nose contour right now, and I just hope it pays off because I don't know if it's going to. All right, for foundation, I'm gonna do the Dior Backstage because it's closer to my chest. That's all I'm gonna put on there. And I'm going to use this brush to kind of start marrying some colors together. It took away my whole nose contour. All right, I'm gonna bronze using the Tom Ford Intensity 1. I just feel like I don't know if it's because this part is so highlighted now. I feel like you can't really see any color to my skin. I'm just gonna do a little bit of this. Yeah, I just needed a little something. Hrush has a video where she teaches us how to make Hrush's, can't remember what she calls it, special, her mix, I don't know. She mixes 3 powders together, the Ben Nye Banana, I believe it's another Ben Nye powder, maybe in Cameo, it's the Fair, more of a pinker toned one. I don't have that, but I have this one from Maybelline, which we'll just have to do. And I have Laura Mercier, which is the 3rd powder she mixes it with. She said she just kind of applies it onto her paper towel and just has to go until she gets the color that she is aiming for. My face feels really tacky. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. happen, you guys. I feel like this is gonna be really uncomfortable. I probably did way too much, just way too much concealer. I did not need to use as much concealer as I actually used, but that's okay. That is all right. So this is my color that I mixed up. I think it's pretty good for what I need. She said when she wants more coverage when she's baking, she uses a powder puff, and when she doesn't want as much, she uses a beauty blender. And after everything I just went through, I definitely don't need any more, I don't need any more coverage. So she takes her bronzer while she's baking and goes ahead and like bronzes up around her skin, because she basically said like if you put, she did this with loose powder, but I don't have any dark loose powder with me. Plus I feel like this should work similarly, I don't know. But I'm gonna take powder bronzer and put it on top of like the kind of the cream bronzer I already laid down. And then I guess the idea is no matter how bright this gets, because I put pigment on top of pigment, they should still look pretty good. And then we're still gonna blend all these colors together again with another powder. Hrush does not play around, you understand? And so she said she stipples it too. She doesn't. So I had some technical issues with my camera. All I did was wipe away the bake. So the main thing about this so far that I like is how bright my under eye area is, but my skin looks so heavy, like cakey. I know it's because I used way too much concealer, and if I could do it all over again, I would have mixed the concealer with a moisturizer, which is actually something that she does a lot when she does a more cream contouring, but I don't know, I'm just not loving the texture my skin's taking. I'm actually gonna turn the camera off and do my brows and my eyes, and then I'm gonna come back and finish up the skin and kind of tell you what I learned, tips and tricks along the way that I wish I would have tried. And yeah, we'll wrap this thing up. So I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do like my cheeks and finish this up. The only thing that I have done to my face since I turned the camera off is something that Hrush talks about a lot. So in the areas between my bronzer and my highlight, I went in with this powder foundation from Benefit that's a little closer to like the between shade of the darkest of my contour and the lightest of my highlight. So I just kind of, it's like eyeshadow. You're just trying to blend the colors together. It's really the only thing I did to any other area of my face off camera. And now we're gonna go ahead and finish this bad boy up. For cheeks, I wanna do something kind of bronzy neutral. Is that a thing? I wish you guys could see how big of a mess my table is right now. It's a little bit ridiculous. So I'm gonna take Madly from NARS, and I'm gonna keep this pretty high, but I'm also gonna kind of move it around the whole center of my face. I hope this looks as good on camera as it does in person. I mean, this breakout is like ruining my whole moment right now, but it's fine. Okay, there's one like kind of odd thing that she mentioned I want to try. I might live to regret this, but she takes a little bit of a face and body style. I think she uses Chanel, so I hope this works. Put a very little bit on the back of my hand. And I'm gonna take this brush because it's so fluffy and I can kind of like control how much is getting off. She said she like puts luminous foundations on the forehead on top of the foundation very lightly so that they're glowy, and I'll be damned if that doesn't work. And well, that is neat. Hrush! All right, that's my new favorite trick in the world for makeup officially. I usually do that with the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Hollywood blah blah blah, but it doesn't blend out very well every time, and this looks way more natural and it's way easier. Dig it. You guys, I have never had more makeup on my clothes when I filmed a video in my life. In my life. All right, I'm gonna try this on other areas of my face, like right here. And it just stays like this. That is wild. It looks so cool. I'm really trying to make sure I don't get too much. Yep. For highlight, I'm gonna use the Anastasia and Omrezi blah blah blah. So this is like a brand new lip combination, you guys, and it's probably gonna surprise you. This is the KKW Beauty Nude number 2 lip liner and the KKW Beauty Nude 3 lipstick. Listen, I can't explain it, okay? I have no good answer, but this is my first time trying this, so let's see how it goes. I'm gonna use Buxom Claire because this is making me look kind of dead. I don't know. I'm going to turn the camera off and do my hair and all that good stuff, and I'll be right back to wrap this up. All right, guys, so this is the finished look. I really like it, but I have learned some things about what I would do differently moving forward if I wanted to continue and get better at a technique like this, which I actually would really like to do. This particular type of makeup, though it doesn't look like a lot to the naked eye, I mean, I don't know, it might. It's a lot. It took me a long time to do this because what makes Hrush and anyone of her caliber, particularly who works on someone like the Kardashians, what makes them so good at what they do is their ability to really, I don't want to say pile on makeup and make it look natural, but yeah. Like the tutorials that Hrush posted of her own makeup, what she does to herself, like there was a few times where I was like, dang girl, I'm not hating. She's a friggin' genius. I love her. I've watched so much of her videos the past couple days. Like I've truly kind of fallen for her as a person, but she put on a lot of makeup. The reason that they do something like that so well is they are able to look at the human face, pick out the tones of the face to really complement the skin, and then they're able to blend all these shades together so seamlessly. It's not easy to do, and a lot of like Instagram and stuff like that can make it look so, but that's really what separates the IG artists for artists of Hrush's caliber. So a few things that I did wrong that I will do differently next time. Number 1, I don't know if I would use Tarte Shape Tape, or if I did, I would definitely need to put some moisturizer in it because it's just too dry for me. I don't even have dry skin, and it's just, to me, it's just an extremely drying formula. I also used way too much, so that could have something to do with it, but I would either mix the Tarte Shape Tape in with a moisturizer, or I would use something very different, like a very creamy concealer. What I think would be perfect for this, and something I would love to try, is the Kevyn Aucoin Sensual Skin Enhancer with some moisturizer. I bet that would work really, really well. But so step 1, yeah, for me, more hydrating for that first step under eye highlight concealer. And the second thing about that concealer I would do differently is not go so bright. Like I went way too bright. And when I look at a lot of Hrush's work, either she didn't go as bright or she just did a way better job than I did. Because this is just like, I don't know, this might take some getting used to, but this is very bright for me. And I feel like no matter how much blending I have done, which is a lot, trust me, I have been sitting here like trying to get everything a little more seamless for a hot minute, and I still feel like it's really harsh. I think what would have helped me in that process is to start off with that first concealer being a little closer to my actual skin tone, as opposed to starting off with something so bright. I think it would have brightened up inevitably throughout the process, because that's kind of Hrush's thing, is that under eye, but, oh, the under eye and the wing. But yeah, I don't think it's what I needed in this moment. So I would toy around with the colors I chose. So the brows were hard for me. I probably should have done them first, although a lot of the contouring and stuff that I was doing required me to really just kind of run the makeup over my eyelid and my eyebrows, so that might have been difficult because I found that once I got all the face makeup on without my brows, I still couldn't get a picture of what it looked like. And now I don't know if I like this brow shape I came up with now that the contour is already done. I do my brows first all the time for a reason, and it's because we harp all the time about how important they are for your skin, for your face shape, but we do them last, and I never understood it. So brows first for me forever, except for today, and I don't think I would do that again. So what I like about this is I know this makeup isn't going anywhere. I could go to sleep and I will have this on tomorrow morning. It probably will not have budged one bit. I really loved the MAC Face and Body hack thing, kind of using it as a very subtle but very realistic liquid highlighter. That's a trick I'm going to use all the time. That is genius. I don't know if on camera you can tell, but in person it really does look like my skin is not quite as bogged down with makeup as it is. That nose contour put me through it, and it still mounted to a hill of beans, so I might just have to do my nose contour the way I prefer to do it, because nose contour is just difficult. Like, doing it with creams isn't easy anyway, but she just gets that line so skinny, and I couldn't quite get there. So I'm going to work on that, but I don't really need the most snatched nose in the world anyway. Like, my nose doesn't really bother me. I just kind of want to create some structure to kind of line up with the structure on the rest of my face. But outside of that, my nose doesn't bother me. So I could have left that out, and I probably will next time. But to answer the question that this video poses, can I do makeup as good as a Kardashian makeup artist? No, probably why I'm not one. I'm close. I bet if you give me like 3 more times of trying this, I could nail it, because I get the basic concepts. I know what brushes I have that are not kind of lending themselves to what I need. I know what I did wrong, and I know how to fix it. So I think I could be. But Hrush, should my channel ever be blessed with your presence, I just want you to know that I think you're dope, hilarious, funny. You guys go check her out, subscribe, tell her I said hi, she's great. Other than that, I just want to say thank you to the patrons. We have recently switched over our format over there, so they are getting kind of long form, unedited. That never comes out of my mouth correctly the first time I say it. Unedited versions of videos, particularly ones like this where I'm doing a lot of talking and applying makeup. And for YouTube, I have to kind of condense these videos down to around the 25-minute, 27-minute mark is like where I want to keep it. But sometimes if I could do what I wanted, the video would be closer to 45 minutes and have a lot more information in it. So, but those longer videos like that, the maxed out info ones, are what's going to go on Patreon now. So if you want to see the long version of this, go check out Patreon. Other than that, I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Check the down bar for links to all my social media platforms, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.